This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 5th day of July in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. President Irfan Ali announced last evening that the embattled Minister of Local Government, Nigel Darmalal, tendered his resignation as Minister and as a Member of Parliament, and the President accepted that resignation. Darmalal has been accused of sexually assaulting a teenage schoolgirl. He has denied the allegations. The announcement of his resignation came hours after the police indicated that it was advised by the Director of Public Prosecutions to no longer pursue the rape allegations against the government minister, since the complainant has indicated that she no longer wishes to continue the matter. In announcing the resignation of Mr. Darmalal as a government minister and member of parliament, the president said Darmalal indicated that he was resigning in the interest of the government, since he did not want to bring the government into disrepute. According to the president, Darmalal has also advised that the allegations have affected him personally, and as such he has offered to resign from the two positions.
It's important to, and he would not want anyone to bring the government into disrepute. It's also advised that these allegations has affected him personally, and as such, he is offered to resign as minister and as a member of parliament. I have therefore accepted his resignation as a cabinet member and member of parliament.
The president said Darmalal has committed that he will continue to support and be a member of the People's Progressive Party and will also be supportive of the government. According to the president, he never intervened in the matter since he wanted to allow the system to work.
From the inception, I advised the population that I would allow the system to work. I would never, and the government would never, intervene in the system. We've allowed an independent investigation. The minister proceeded on leave to ensure that an independent investigation was conducted. Police did their investigations, and also all the other agencies, including the DPP.
The government has been under heavy criticism from the APNU opposition and a number of other groups and non-governmental organizations over its treatment of the matter. The teenage girl who filed a rape complaint against the minister was holding on to her statement and the complaint until the DPP requested the police to conduct additional investigations, and the teen reportedly complained of having to face questions again about the alleged sexual assault and rape that she claimed took place at the minister's house back in December. Once she informed the police that she no longer wanted action to be taken in the matter, the police file was resent to the Director of Public Prosecutions, and the DPP advised that since the complainant was withdrawing from the case, there was no legal basis for the case to continue. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say, but now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Oh my lord, I just love to shop in this store. My customers, them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup!
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Buster, bust the flavors. Buster, bust the flavors.
Strong and solid in countries far and wide. New India Assurance, we're standing by your side. Golden service, half a century and more. New India Assurance, our policies are secure. From the heart of India, we serve these islands. The strength that you can trust, you're safe when you come to us.
New India Assurance Company. Assurance when you need it most.
For your home, motor or business insurance, visit New India Guyana office, 58 Brickdam next to Star Computers. Telephone 226-0415-7. Comfortable parking available.
While the main parliamentary opposition party, the APNU, has hammered President Irfaan Ali's statement accepting the resignation of his embattled Minister of Local Government, Nigel Daramalal, stating that the president never expressed any concern for the child who made the rape allegations against his minister. In a statement this morning, the APNU said the president expressed no remorse or sympathy towards a young girl who had filed a police complaint about being raped and sexually assaulted by the now former government minister. The teen later told investigators that she no longer wished to pursue the matter. That decision prompted the DPP to advise the police to discontinue the investigations, and the minister submitted his resignation moments later. In a statement last evening, the president said he has accepted that resignation. The APNU said the president did not express any concern that the criminal justice and child protection systems in the country malfunctioned with their probe of the rape allegations against the government minister. The opposition said the president appeared more concerned about the image of his government than the state of the teenager who filed the complaint. According to the APNU, President Ali's statement exposes what the APNU calls the moral bankruptcy and self-obsession of the PPP regime, adding that the governing party is not interested in justice, accountability, or the rule of law, noting that the PPP is instead bent on putting its self-interest above human and constitutional rights and the welfare of children, women, and all citizens. The opposition said citizens must not let their memories and sense of moral outrage fade out over the acts of the atrocities. The APNU was among the group of protesters that picketed outside the president's office, calling for the resignation of the minister and for justice to be done in the matter. Women's rights organization Red Thread is calling for an independent investigation into the circumstances that resulted in a 16-year-old girl issuing a no further action statement to the police after initially accusing the now former local government minister Nigel Daramalal of rape and sodomy. The disgraced minister tendered his resignation on Tuesday, according to the president. But less than 24 hours after that resignation, the Red Thread organization staged a picketing exercise, demanding that all who may have been involved be held accountable. University of Toronto professor and Red Thread representative Dr. Alyssa Trotz told News Source that there needs to be a thorough investigation into the entire process and the conduct of the Guyana Police Force, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and the Child Care and Protection Agency in responding to the allegations leveled against the government minister by the 16-year-old schoolgirl.
But I think that we need to join all Guyanese in demanding an independent, impartial investigation. Regardless of what race you are, regardless of your age, regardless of your gender, regardless of your political affiliation, there should be a full investigation. And we should put on alert all of those people in positions of power, sitting ministers of government, members of the opposition, every single one of them. all should be put on notice that there can be no one law for the powerful and another one for the powerless.
As she stood on the picket line in front of the Stabroek Market, Dr. Trott said many Guyanese are appalled at the actions of the authorities.
And I think what has really appalled people and what has led Red Thread to come out here today is that throughout this entire process, people have been forced to ask, why is the victim, the survivor, the complainant, an indigenous young woman, a teenager who just sat her high school exams, why is she being treated like a criminal?
And turning her attention to President Irfaan Ali, she said the approach taken by the president is unacceptable.
I think second of all, a lot of Guyanese are really disappointed with the public statements by the President Irfaan Ali. In the first instance, accepting Dharam Lal, I refuse to call him Minister, Dharam Lal's request to go on administrative leave, which as far as I understand it means that you go on leave with full salary. He should not have offered to go on leave as if he was doing the people of Guyana a favor. He should have been made to go on leave. Similarly, he should have been made to resign.
The activist said in announcing the resignation of the disgraced minister, the president failed to address the challenges faced by the alleged victim and appeared only to be concerned about the welfare of the accused.
And everyone who woke up this morning and read President Ali's statement, so many of us are asking, where is the child in this statement? The statement is entirely about Minister Dharam Lal. It is entirely about Minister Dharam Lal submitting his resignation. It's about Minister Dharam Lal talking about how he was personally affected. There is no mention anywhere in any of the news reports that we have seen from President Ali's statement about a child, about an indigenous teenager. This child matters and we should not forget her.
Another Red Thread representative, Joy Marcus, was also among the women on the picket line today. She told News Source that the minister's resignation does not erase the allegation.
What justice are we getting from that? It doesn't mean that if you're in office you can do whatever you want and then just step down. Is that right? That is not right. That is no justice for that child, and we need justice for that child and many other young people who are facing rape and sexual assault.
The Red Thread organization said it remains in solidarity with the alleged victim and will continue to demand justice and independent investigations into the handling of the case by the authorities.
Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
So going on, champ? I passed here last week and this shop lock up tight.
Why? We come down with the flow, so we have to take a couple of days.
I can't deal with them kind of setbacks, Bano. I just get a headache when you see I can't make me little bread.
I know them ways, champ. But thank God for NIS.
NIS? What you got to do now with NIS?
I mean, what I got to do with NIS? I registered as self-employed and I make monthly contributions to NIS. Oh. So you see, for them days I lose, NIS pay me back for most of them days.
What? That is good. You know, I always used to believe that it's only people in big offices and so they pay NIS.
Nah, man. NIS for any working person between the ages of 16 to 60. And as self-employed, you get all the benefit as an employee, except for industrial benefits.
So what I gotta do for set up this thing?
All I gotta do is visit NIS on breakdown, or if you're living out of town, you visit any NIS closest to your location. And once you register and your registration complete, you could start making NIS contributions.
Alright, so I gotta work with and like how much money I gotta pay a month?
I ain't gotta work with no big money. All I gotta work with is your birth certificate and any farmer ID. And when you reach down there, ask for the compliance department.
Good. Thanks for the information, bro. As soon as I left here, I went straight to the NIS office.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will arrive in Guyana tomorrow morning for a whirlwind one-day visit, during which he will hold discussions with the President and other members of the government on a number of issues. Mr. Blinken's visit follows his attendance today at the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in Trinidad and Tobago. During that meeting, he reaffirmed the U.S. government's support for the region in a number of areas. The Guyana visit by the high-ranking U.S. government official is expected to see a number of issues being discussed, from the oil and gas sector to development partnerships and U.S.-Guyana relations. Mr. Blinken is expected to be accompanied by a number of high-ranking officials from the U.S. Congress. Guyana's temporary suspension from the extractive industry's transparency initiative has been lifted, and the government has welcomed that move. The country was suspended over its failure to submit its fourth report on the extractive industries in a timely manner. In accordance with the EITI standards, it was agreed that the suspension would be lifted if the EITI board is satisfied that the outstanding report was published within 6 months of the deadline. The Secretariat said it could confirm that Guyana published its 2020 report on the 30th of June. Thus, the condition for lifting the suspension has been met. Countries are assessed on their progress in meeting the requirements of the EITI standard through validation, which is the organization's quality assurance mechanism. However, with no report in hand, EITI would be unable to evaluate Guyana's performance for the reporting period. Now that the suspension has been reversed, the Guyana government has welcomed the announcement and said it remains confident that all systems will remain in place to ensure that the country is not placed in a similar position in the future. EITI members are required to disclose information along the extractive industry value chain, from how extraction rights are awarded to how revenues make their way through government, and more importantly, how those revenues benefit the public. Well, as Guyana inches closer to its fourth mutual evaluation by the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force, CFATF, the government is moving to further amend the country's anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism legislation to strengthen the state's ability to forfeit the assets of criminals, as well as the proceeds of crime. The Attorney General Anil Nandlal, while speaking on his weekly television program, Issues in the News, said the amendments are based on a review of the existing legislation and recommendations made by CFATF.
In these set of amendments, we have strengthened tremendously our capabilities legislatively to forfeit assets and proceeds of crime. It is recognized now worldwide that one of the most effective of dealing with the criminal is to hit him in the pocket or hit them financially. And the way to do that is not only to convict and sentence, but to go after the proceeds of the crime, go after the assets acquired from the criminal conduct. And our law was not strong as it should be in that regard.
The government, in crafting the amendments, received regional and international help from the Regional Security Services of the Caribbean and the National State Courts of the U.S. The amendments, the Attorney General said, have been finalized and will be taken to the National Assembly for consideration soon. He said it is important to have the new legislation in place before CFATF conducts its on-site visit in September. Additionally, the government has drafted a Compliance Commission bill to pave the way for the establishment of a National Compliance Commission to regulate and supervise a number of unregulated industries.
In our AML-CFT structure, it has been recognized that there are agencies that have no regulator or supervisor to regulate them. We have been forced to use agencies that are not really regulator or supervisor to perform these functions. And it has not been very effective. The system remains weak. So GRA, for example, has been tasked with a number of administrative functions over agencies GRA does not really regulate, simply because we did not have that regulatory framework in place.
The commission, when established, will regulate and supervise unregulated industries such as the auto sales industry. The Attorney General said the legislation will bring the country in full compliance with international standards set out by the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force and the Financial Action Task Force.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Sorry.
Jack?
Hey.
Boys, where you going with all that speed?
Yo, today's the 15th. My NIS contributions are due, and I ain't even get the forms as yet.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that you're not aware that all self-employed persons can now make their NIS contributions using the MMG app from the comforts of their homes and offices?
Really? I just pay my bills using MMG,
Yes, Jack. And the thing's simple. All you have to do is open the app, select Pay Bills, Government Services, NIS, and Pay. They will prompt you to enter your NIS number, the month you're paying for, and the amount.
So I don't need to submit any form?
No. The only time you submit in a form is when you're making a claim.
Wait. I could make a claim too?
Oh, no, man. You didn't know that? Yes. All self-employed persons are entitled to all benefits from NIS. Well, except for the industrial benefits. And here's the good part. All of their forms, you can download them from the NIS website.
Well, girl, I'm really glad I bumped into you.
Anyhow, make sure you pay your bills later.
Later? I gotta sit down right here and pay my contributions first.
Take care.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor at the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true, or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water. Now available for only $120.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall. In the region, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived Wednesday at the 45th meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM in Trinidad and Tobago, where he met Haiti's Prime Minister to discuss ways forward in the violence-ravaged country. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres recently visited Haiti and warned that the Western Hemisphere's poorest country was facing unprecedented violence at the hands of gangs. The security situation is rapidly deteriorating and humanitarian needs are soaring, Guterres said Monday in Trinidad and Tobago, where he also attended the CARICOM summit following his stop in Haiti. Guterres has led calls for a robust international force to stabilize Haiti, where the government has effectively lost control of broad stretches of the territory. In his address, Blinken discussed the prospects of an international force and also sought a political solution in Haiti, which has not held elections since 2016. He urged the Haitian Prime Minister to work urgently with Haitian stakeholders to enlarge the political consensus and fashion a political path forward that returns Haiti to a democratic order. Asylum seekers and refugees can be deported from Trinidad and Tobago, despite the country being a signatory to a United Nations convention that advises against such action, Trinidad and Tobago Guardian said in a report. According to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, High Court Judge Justice Frank C. Prasad made a statement on Tuesday as he dismissed the hybrid judicial review and constitutional motion lawsuit brought by a Venezuelan refugee who was ordered to be deported by the National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines in March. In his judgment, Justice C. Prasad noted that the convention could not apply as its terms were not incorporated into local immigration laws. According to the evidence in the case, in April last year, the man whose identity was withheld over concerns that he may face repercussions if he is eventually deported was granted refugee status by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Several months later, he was arrested while traveling in a taxi and charged with entering the country illegally. And finally tonight, international news. 10 people were killed and 38 wounded in mass shootings in Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Fort Worth ahead of the 4th of July holiday, officials said, prompting a fresh call from President Joe Biden to pass gun control legislation. According to a Reuters report, in Fort Worth, 3 people were killed and 8 wounded in a mass shooting after a local festival to mark the U.S. Independence Day holiday. In a separate mass shooting in Philadelphia on Monday evening, 5 people were killed and 2 were wounded, including a 2-year-old boy and a 13-year-old boy, both of whom were shot in the legs when a suspect in body armor and armed with an AR-15 opened fire on strangers, according to local police. The Monday night shootings came a day after 2 people were shot dead and 28 others injured, about half of them children, in a hail of gunfire at a neighborhood block party in Baltimore. The motives in all 3 recent shootings remain unclear. The United States is struggling with a large number of mass shootings and incidents of gun violence. There have been over 340 mass shootings in the country so far for 2023, according to data collected by the Gun Violence Archive, which defines a mass shooting as an incident in which at least 4 people are shot, excluding the shooter. Biden condemned the violence on Tuesday and renewed his calls to tighten America's gun laws.
And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.